Hello everyone and welcome back to the Longplay Club. This week we are continuing the Metal Gear Solid Definitive Series playthrough. We are continuing, of course, with Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. This is a standalone episode for a standalone chunk of MGS5. I'm your host today, Christian Buckley, codename Scorpion, joined by Omar Nakvi, codename Pig.
Hey, that hurts still. I forgot.
I'm sorry.
No worries. It's who I am. That was the job I did, and that's how I'll be called. So it's okay. It's okay.
It's who I am.
Do you know if Revengeance gives you a code name at the end? Because that could just be your the final period on this entire thing. You could redeem it.
I feel like it does.
Okay.
I think it does.
Okay, that could be good for us.
I think so.
Joining us as well, the fellow Scorpion, Kevin Diaz. How are you?
Kept you waiting, huh?
Okay.
That was not bad. That was not bad. I'm practicing. I'm not saying I practice in the shower by myself, but maybe I do. Maybe I don't. You know, who knows? Who knows? You know.
Mm-hmm. It's very good.
I'm going more of a David Hayter, not a Kiefer Sutherland though. I'm going more of a hater type vibe, but
sure.
It's all good.
Rounding out the Long Play Club, of course, codename Eagle, Jack Martin.
Hello. We are fully upon E3 week, and the buzz is very excited. I think this is going up after E3, but let me tell you right now, the E3 juice is flowing through all of our veins right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
This should actually be going up in the middle of E3 because this is going up on Monday when we got Capcom, we got a bunch of other stuff. So because we're on the precipice, Keeley's thing is happening in a couple hours. We've been talking about Metal Gear. I did some math. We have an absurd amount of hours together talking about Metal Gear. I would say we're almost experts at this point. Quick yes or no, everybody. Will Metal Gear Solid show up at E3 this year in any capacity? Jack?
No.
Omar?
No.
Kevin?
No.
All right, well, I have to say yes at that point, right?
Keep the faith, Christian.
Yeah. When we get a new Smash Fighter and it's Raiden, thank me, okay?
I would. See, now I'm happy because I can actually flip out properly at that.
Yeah.
If it actually happens, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
But
Or you know what? Fuck it. Bring my boy Otacon to Smash. You know.
You
Come
must
on.
have flipped out about Sephiroth.
Oh no, I did. Oh
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
no, I did. Yeah, absolutely. That was a proper flip out. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
yeah, and Keely's not a stranger to dropping some Metal Gear stuff because Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain actually began as a title just called The Phantom Pain. It wasn't even Ground Zeroes at first.
No, it was, right?
No, I thought Ground Zeroes was announced after The Phantom Pain was clarified.
No, I remember distinctly when Ground Zeroes was announced. It was the first day of our high school orientation, Christian.
It
Holy
was.
shit.
August something.
Oh.
Yeah,
Holy
it was.
shit.
I remember I had an Android phone at the time, and I was reading about it in the cafeteria when we were loading up and getting stuff. I don't know. August 2012 is that?
Yes.
What? Yeah.
You are so right. I pulled up the Wikipedia.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Omar,
Oh my
because
God.
I thought it was announced after this whole debacle, which we'll get into.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Announced on August 30th, 2012, under the name Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes.
Savage.
Yeah.
Damn. In 2012.
Yeah.
2012 it was announced,
Wow.
yeah.
Shout out to 2012. Shout out.
So that was 4 years after Metal Gear Solid 4,
Mhm.
which
Mm.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Because at this point it feels like the gap was much longer than that, but I guess it was pretty short.
Yeah, and
But yeah, what was that, Christian? Sorry.
I just wanted to throw out also Peace Walker, the last game we played, was 2010, and I believe Revengeance came when exactly? When did that release?
That was February 2013. I
Okay.
think.
Okay, so yeah, we weren't quite at Revengeance, but we were still pretty recent off of Peace Walker. So in terms of mainline, though, yeah, just Kevin, to get a good sense, the last main one was 4 on the PS3, so this was a long time coming for the next proper Metal Gear. We all know last week we talked about how Kojima called Peace Walker the Metal Gear Solid 5 in my heart. This was much more of the Metal Gear Solid 5 the fans are waiting for, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty interesting release and announcement for this game, right? Because Omar, you might remember it better since I very much did not, but was the scope of Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, like, did the public have a good sense of the scope of this game when it was announced, or did the assumption just go straight to this is the next main Metal Gear?
I'm pretty sure this was just thought to be the next Metal Gear, and there was no question about scope or how long it was until later on.
Gotcha.
Which,
I have a clarification from the Wikipedia page.
Please.
So when it was announced, Kojima confirmed that Big Boss would be coming back as a protagonist, and that it would serve as a prologue to another game in the series, which hadn't been announced at the time. So It seems like, I don't remember this very clearly because I wasn't a big Metal Gear fan at the time, but it seems that Ground Zeroes was established as a prologue rather than a fully fledged game.
Sure, which makes sense, because it was announced on the precipice of new consoles, so it may be like, hey, this is an engine test, it's a tech demo sort of thing, because this was the first, as far as I know, game running on the Fox engine that, like, we all love and know, right? Like,
no, because Metal Gear Rising was announced before this.
Oh, okay.
And that was going to be full Fox engine until eventually Kojima Productions had to give it to Platinum.
Interesting.
Well, I have another thing here.
Is it
It was
Pez?
the second game.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Pro Evolution Soccer. 2014 was the first Fox engine game.
Very.
Oh, that's damn. That's not what you would want to hear for sure.
And
So
they've been using it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying the Pro Evolution Soccer has been using the Fox engine up until 2020, I think, and then they finally moved to Unreal Engine 4.
Oh, really?
So that was an 8-year run, I guess, or I don't know how long that was, Jack, whenever they first started doing it, but geez.
I'm not going to correct you on your math. That sounds right to me.
Okay, thank you.
Because I don't know how to count. It's one of those things I never learned. So.
Same.
It's just weird because, like, I feel like I've heard the Fox engine, like, so many times, but it's only been in, like, what? Like, Metal Gear Solid, Ground Zeroes, Phantom Pain,
Survive,
Pro Evolution Soccer, Survive. Okay, I guess
Big one. You're missing a big one.
I am?
PT, baby.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It just felt like not that many games, but okay. Actually, when you look at it, all right.
It really isn't. Honestly,
Yeah,
I think
in the
you're
grand
right.
scheme,
Yeah.
Which is a bummer because it's a great engine, and we'll get to how this game plays for sure in just a little bit. But like, yeah, this is such an impressive for a demo, for a prologue. I think that this is a really impressive first stab at Metal Gear, like next gen Metal Gear.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like Konami's Frostbite in general, but like then they got out of big video games, and then like it didn't end up being that.
Yeah. So.
Oh wait, but that Metal Gear Solid 3 Pachinko machine does run on it too. I forgot about that.
That runs Fox Engine?
Yeah, or like the cutscenes are rendered on Fox Engine at least, but I don't know if the natively real-time Fox Engine or not.
Oh man.
So
tragic.
Ground Zeroes existing is the next step for the main series, right? And one of the things that came along with Ground Zeroes was the unceremoniously discarding of David Hayter, right? Like, this was a huge thing. This seems like it was a long time coming because we talked for Snake Eater about how Big Boss was originally, Kojima wanted someone like a Kurt Russell. He wanted a A-list celebrity, and he ended up not getting an A-list celebrity, I would say, but he wanted somebody Hollywood. He wanted that mystique of action star, somebody that the world will recognize to some degree. He doesn't want David Hayter, who was very much beloved by the fans and was the other half of Metal Gear. He didn't want to share that with anybody that he wasn't directly spotlighting. So Kiefer Sutherland, 24. What else is he in? I can't think of it.
Lost Boys.
Okay, there's another one.
Maybe.
Hey man,
he was Sergeant Roebuck in Call of Duty World at War.
Okay.
So he's got the video game chaps.
Hey man, Kiefer Sutherland. I sense a little shade in Christian's tone there. Hey,
am I alone? Am I the only one on the panel that didn't like this?
No, absolutely not. I think.
Wait. Well, I mean, I have thoughts about like him being Snake, but I think he's out there. I think he's relatively known. You know,
I never.
think,
Oh wait,
Yeah.
Sorry, you go ahead.
Designated Survivor.
That's the other one I was gonna say. I was gonna be like, I remember
How
all
could
these
we forget?
promos a couple years ago. But
he's out there doing stuff.
The director of agriculture is the president or whatever he was. That's a great premise. It's a great premise.
I never saw 24, but Christian,
My
I don't know if
dad.
you remember. Your dad loves 24.
My dad loves 20. Oh my god, he would always have it on. He was obsessed with 24. Yeah, so that's where I mainly know him, was just from 24. That's pretty much it. But
I remember Christian, the 5th grade teacher, Miss Graham, loved 24. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I did not remember that. But
Okay. She loved 24 and you too, but that's all I know.
yeah, I know. My sister really loved 24, and I watched a few episodes of it. And like, cool premise. You know, not
yeah, it's cool.
the guy in the center stage doesn't seem like Solid Snake, Big Boss. He doesn't fit that vibe really, and we can get to the voice direction later. But that was, you know, just speaking of the lead up to this game, that was a really big deal. And we've kicked around Hater in the past, but like, Jack, is there anything that stands out to you from that era of just either hearing from David Hayter specifically around this, or the community of just what that was like?
I know from interviews that have come out since that David Hayter is just like Hideo Kojima's public enemy #1 to David Hayter. Like, it was not a good parting. That he was very upset by it, and yeah, I think, and to all of the fans, of course, were very upset by it because to them he's Snake and Big Boss, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, that was huge news at the time, and I don't think, even if people did like or tolerate Kiefer Sutherland's performance, he was very much overshadowed by the news that David Hayter would no longer be returning. So that was really big when this game was announced and when it was revealed that David Hayter was no longer returning.
Yeah, Omar, how did you take it? Because I think at the time you were the one out of all of us that was the most in the trenches for Metal Gear.
I was pretty mad about it, and I also was straight up convinced that David Hayter was still going to be in the game. That was like, I thought he might show up somewhere. But yeah, honestly, in recent years, I've kind of got pretty fond of it. I think I've become a Kiefer Sutherland fan in it. I think he sounds kind of cool and weird and crazy. Mm-hmm. He's got a weird voice. When he says, "Kept you waiting, huh?" I think he's got a good twang to it. I don't know.
No, it's definitely not what you'd expect out of Big Boss, right? But I think, especially after Peace Walker, where David Hayter, I feel like, was able to define Big Boss a bit more distinctively than he did in Snake Eater. Definitely, I think playing him back to back and all that, like, it stands out more. But I'm with you. I think like Kiefer playing this really weird man who's obsessed with like his mentor, who was like his mom, but he was in love with her, and like he's got all this regret and shame. Like, I don't know, there is something charming about his performance. I just wish that we have a little wider range to pull from in terms of just, like, his take on it, you know?
I think the unfortunate part is that maybe he doesn't have enough lines, right? We can get into that later. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I don't know why I jump ahead, but there's a part of Phantom Pain that I think he does such a killer job in, mm-hmm. that I'm kind of cool with it. Yeah. But, I guess it does help that I wasn't particularly attached to Big Boss. If it was Solid Snake, I'd probably be more mad. Sure. But I've gotten into it.
Yeah, I think if there was if the series was still ongoing and for some reason Solid Snake was still around, if Big Boss was voiced by Kiefer Sutherland and Solid Snake was voiced by David Hayter, I know that's not a reality, but I think that would make sense just because you don't want to have the same voice actor doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. If they're both still around. Like, we had Richard Doyle come in as Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 4, just so that the same voice actor wasn't speaking the same character, right? Right. So that would have been cool. But
that would have been cool.
for having Kiefer Sutherland essentially just come in and say one-liners throughout this whole prologue, I'm really fine with it. I think I agree with you guys. I really like the sound of his voice, and At least in this game itself, Big Boss as a character doesn't really exist. Like, he doesn't really have a defined character in this game, because it is just such a situational mission, and he doesn't really have a lot to work with. So, at least in Ground Zeroes, I enjoy Kiefer Sutherland's performance. Of course, I miss David Hayter, but as Big Boss, I really don't mind having Kiefer Sutherland lend his voice for that role, because in Metal Gear Solid 3, David Hayter just had a very awkward performance, and I think he turned it around a lot in Peace Walker. But if having Kiefer Sutherland as his voice, I was totally fine with it, and I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about Snake Eater, just Big Boss being very awkward and stilted. Now imagine if Snake Eater this whole time was Kiefer Sutherland, and the reason it was awkward is just because it's Kiefer Sutherland realizing this man is just a weird enigma of a person, and like that's why it's weird. Like, that'd be so much better, And
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about him that I'm with you, Omar. He's definitely grown on me, and I didn't have a huge attachment to Big Boss at the time anyway, so like I was cool with it then. It's just such a shift, but I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, I think it'd be funny if, because I feel like there's always people trying to get cameo campaigns that like get David Hayter to record the Metal Gear Solid 5 lines or something, and then patch them in. What if we went back to Kiefer Sutherland's cameo and patched him in Metal Gear Solid 3? What if we did that?
That'd be really good.
That'd be really funny.
It makes Snake Eater a good game, maybe.
I didn't say that.
I don't know.
We can do some rewrites. It doesn't have to be one for one. The animation's not exact.
Oh, man.
Kevin, just to check in with you, because again, you're seeing this for the first time.
Right.
What's your take on Kiefer after some ups and downs with Big Boss so far in the voice acting direction?
Yeah, I think I'm most aligned probably with Jack, where like definitely, I mean, well, probably not in this way, but I felt a little bit knee jerk, like, oh, this is definitely not David, and I forgot that Kiefer Sutherland was Big Boss in at least Ground Zeroes and obviously MGS5 as well. I had forgotten that, so on stream I was like, oh man, like I did not remember this whole thing. Yeah, like I forgot this whole voice actor thing. But I think what made it be such a shock and like a shift to me personally was just because how much I enjoyed David's performance in Peace Walker. Like I fucking loved it. I thought it was really, really good. Like it was one of the best performances he's done, I think, in the series as a whole, to be honest. So it just hurt to like lose what could have been that. Like I feel like he really got to just do a good Big Boss as opposed to MGS3 where it wasn't that great. But when I was done with Ground Zeroes, I found myself like thinking about that less and less over time. So I assume like, it's just gonna just blend in and it at least sounds like similar, right? And his delivery, I feel like, is similar enough where it is not that bad once you get a little more time with it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, It's not the worst in the world for sure. It's not like it could have been way worse for sure. But
yeah,
I think it's really fun hearing him talk about some of like the standard Metal Gear wiki dump stuff, because there's a little bit of that in the opening cutscene, I think, where he's like, him and Kaz are talking about just some history stuff. That feels like, oh man, I can't believe they paid this like actual Hollywood actor to read some of this bullshit. I like a lot.
Yeah. So there is a bit more to talk about in terms of the reception of just MGS5 as a whole. I know Jack and Omar wanted to get into that a little bit, so do you guys want to tee up sort of where we're headed with this, and then we can get into the mission of Ground Zeroes?
Sure. Jack, you want to go?
Sure. So you wanted to talk about the reveal trailer for the Phantom Pain, Christian?
Yeah.
Is that what you were hinting at?
Sure.
So, like what we just found out, the Ground Zeroes, or Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes was revealed as like a prologue to a game in August of 2012, and then in December of 2012 at the Video Game Awards, hosted by Jeff Keighley, there is a very strange reveal trailer for a game called The Phantom Pain, which would, of course, turn out to be Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain a few months later. But when it was initially revealed...
Oh,
Uh-oh.
We just lost Jack.
So-
He just got
When it was
Kojima.
initially revealed.
Konami just took him out.
Oh, man.
So
Omar, I choose you.
yeah,
Sure, all right.
carry the baton. Carry the baton.
All
Rid of
right.
the
This game was initially revealed. Well, basically, we were watching the VGAs. What 2012? Yeah, December 2012.
Still on
And-
Spike, right?
Yeah, it's still on Spike. Christian said earlier he watched it on cable. I think I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then wait, maybe Jack can carry this back.
Oh,
Wait.
maybe not.
Oh, all right. Well, we're watching a lot of hospital stuff. Some fucked up stuff is happening at our hospital.
Right.
And there's a man on screen that kind of has a mullet. He has a mullet, and we're seeing a lot of lens flares that look pretty reminiscent of the previous Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes demo we just saw a couple months ago. And eventually, Jack, you want to carry this forward? I'm sorry, I don't want to take your bit. But
Yeah, sorry, I exploded. My apologies.
no, it's okay.
We got through a little bit of the hospital setting, so
Yeah, so get through the hospital setting, and then basically at the end of this, a giant whale comes out of the ground and envelops a helicopter, and there's a unicorn with flames coming out of it, and
Real?
then the title reveal of The Phantom Pain comes out, and it was revealed that it was being developed by Moby Dick Studios, hence the whale, and it was just this elaborate ruse, which is really funny when you think back of it now. And then later on, like 3 months later, it was revealed that The Phantom Pain was in fact Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, and Ground Zeroes would be the prologue for that particular game, which is really funny.
Before this, I want to say, like, we were talking about this a bit, but, like, you know, there was that December where they revealed The Phantom Pain, right? And it was the Moby Dick Studios, and basically that night, people figured out that it was Metal Gear Solid 5 related.
yeah.
And but they did not tell us that for months, where they brought Kojima production. They brought out this guy called Joaquin Mogren, like, who was going to direct this game, and he was just a guy who had his face covered up in bandages doing interviews with people, like talking about this Phantom Pain game.
Yeah.
And
Damn,
it was
so they
What's
really tried to like play everyone. Like,
they tried
like,
to.
Yeah.
And
Oh damn!
One
I
more
forgot
thing.
another. Yeah, what's up,
I
Christian?
wanted to throw one more thing in there. In that initial reveal, right, there's that guy with the mullet who he doesn't have an eye patch or anything, but he just has like some bandages around his eyes and like his forehead and everything. But the entire trailer, he's being led by this other guy in a hospital gown that has his entire face bandaged up, like Joaquin, right? So it's the exact like it's this guy who we think we saw in the trailer that's actually the game director. Like, it was really weird. It was very, very strange, but yeah, there was absolutely a stretch of time where everyone was like, so yeah, that game's Metal Gear, but nobody's saying it.
And, like, the reason that Omar was saying, like, that people knew this was Metal Gear, there's, like, a few... Well, first of all, the dude that you're following behind, like, with the mullet, looks like someone Snake would be. Even I, who, like, wasn't very familiar with the game, I was like, kind of looks like that might be Snake.
Yeah, this little crawling too, you know?
Yeah. And then, when they revealed the Phantom Pain at the very end, like, the title reveal, there's, like, gaps in the letters of the Phantom Pain that people, like, went in with, like, Microsoft Paint or whatever and wrote Metal Gear Solid because it just fit it within those gaps, and everyone was like, I think this is Metal Gear Solid, and Kojima's just being really weird, as always, and yeah, it turned out that was exactly what happened.
Yeah. Okay, so first, I really want to see if there's like some breakdown videos of some fucking nerds that don't know it's Metal Gear Solid and they're breaking down like the importance of like the whale and like I really want to see if like there's some breakdowns of that or people that just did not know it's Metal Gear Solid. But I guess from what you guys said, like pretty much, was it like a unanimous like this is Metal Gear Solid?
Like 90%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone was like, all right, no, this is Metal Gear Solid. Okay.
There's one thing I forgot that might be the funniest part about this was that like there were all these reports that night on Twitter being like of people at the Game Awards being like, all the Moby Dick studio guys are hanging out with people in the Konami t-shirts at Spike.
Yikes.
So like everyone just knew.
Big yikes. Yeah, I would not have done that. Yeah, interesting.
But, like, sorry, Kevin, go ahead.
I forgot what I was gonna say. So just keep it going.
Okay.
Keep it going. Let's go.
I was,
I remember it. Oh wait, no. Okay, I do remember. It reminds me of when Kojima was like, "Oh, we're all already playing Death Stranding." You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like everyone's playing it already. Like when he was dropping those statements about Death Stranding when that was coming out.
yeah.
My first taste of his games. You know, so
And
I see.
I think this strategy, and I'd say semi-botch, led to the incredible feat that was PT, right? Because PT, nobody knew that was Silent Hills, and he did the same thing. He made a fake studio name. It was this creepy trailer.
7781 Studios or something.
Yeah, it was like this picture
yeah.
of Norway or something, and like a tree stump. Like PT, I think, was able to be that legendary because MGSV was just so blatantly obvious. So like,
He had to get it right. He was mad.
yeah, exactly. So
He took that Silent Hill budget and was like, "Yo, fuck you," or sorry, that Metal Gear Solid 5 budget and was like, "Yo, fuck you. I'm gonna get this right."
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think, weird marketing. I think that's fun. I feel like if somebody could pull it off, more people should try to, because I think it is fun when there's a big notable thing like this that we can have a little game out of it. I think that's neat. And Death Stranding kind of did some stuff like that with its trailers, but nothing on this level at all.
No, but I think
that. Oh, sorry, you go for it, Omar.
I think he creates like this expectation of his trailers though with this
Yeah,
that people went nuts with the Death Stranding stuff. Like we had to know everything before.
Remember a couple weeks ago there was that PlayStation exclusive that was announced. It was like a first-person indie title, and they were like, "Is this a Kojima game?" Like, no, but it's fun though.
The internet is dumb, but also he broke our brains.
Yes,
Which I don't know who to blame.
I mean, he laid a precedent. So if anything's a little bit sus, it's like we now have 2 and 2. We got a big 4 sometimes.
Sure.
But
Yeah, I'll say, like, even though people figured this out in like 0.2 seconds, I think the ploy of the marketing strategy was effective because it got more people talking about this and got probably more eyes on it for like the 3 months until it was actually revealed. So I think in that regard it was effective. But yeah, I don't think it was supposed to be that big a secret, because it was pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah. So let's get into Ground Zeroes then. The mission. There are several missions here, but most of us, I think, just play the main one.
Can I say one more thing before we get into this real quick?
Sure.
About the release of this? But yeah, I know we got limited time today, but I do think we knew it was a prologue before launch, but I don't think we knew about how it was going to be sold. Because I think Kojima might have said on statement, like, I'm not really sure how this is going to happen, because it seemed like it might have been a tanker plant situation from Metal Gear Solid 2, where this could have just been like in the game, in Phantom Pain when it came out.
So
But, yeah,
I think he originally wanted it, like what you were saying, he originally wanted it to be a part of the Phantom Pain, and then over the course of development, I think it was just thought of as a separate game itself. Maybe just to give the Phantom Pain more time, or also to just get people familiar with the controls before playing this. But originally it was just supposed to be in the game as the prologue.
Yeah.
And then they sold it for $40.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I remember.
Sure did.
Yeah, so those that were playing this at launch, right? Like, I know it's Metal Gear Solid, right? So like, obviously, like, if it was a franchise that I care a lot about, I'm still gonna buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they were selling 10 minutes of FF7 Remake Part 2 for $60, I'm gonna buy it. Like, I don't care, right? But I think 40 sounds a little bit steep.
It
like,
definitely
like,
was, I think.
It's not like insane necessarily, but it's definitely pretty steep. So, was there a backlash with that, or just people were like, "Fuck it, it's Metal Gear Solid, like fuck it"?
Big backlash, I think.
Yeah, people were
yeah,
upset.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah,
But I think that sort of recontextualized a lot of the discussions of game pricing that generation. I feel like it started with this game,
Yeah.
I don't think there was any other example before or after, really, that was like, hold on, you sure about that? Like, I think in a similar way, we sort of saw maybe a hint of that so far with this current generation. I'd say maybe with like not so much Miles Morales because that was like packaged with the remaster, but maybe Returnal. I don't think it was as steep or anything, but like early on, that question of like, hey, so pricing in video games this generation, like what's up with that? So I think nothing like that has happened since, but this was absolutely a moment where people were like, I don't know about this, especially after it came out. A lot of people were like, hey, it was really cool, plays really well, but I don't know about $40. So
Right.
I ended up buying 2 copies of it at launch accidentally. It wasn't really an accident, but it was like I bought my copy from Amazon, and they delayed it by 1 day. But I was really scared about spoilers, and then I bought it on the PSN store, and yeah.
Fuck yeah, Omar.
nice.
I had to do it.
So
I feel you.
let's talk about the main mission, because sort of picking up after Peace Walker, we are still Big Boss dealing with his military without borders, except this time we have a rescue op we have to run where Chico and Paz have both been kidnapped and brought to this island prison torture base area. And it's a classic Metal Gear setup. We gotta infiltrate a base, we gotta sneak on through, we gotta meet some hostages, and on that level, I really, really love Ground Zeroes, because it is, after all the stuff we did with Snake Eater and 4, and even Peace Walker, like, getting back to that simple, there's an island, there's a military base, sneak in, get out, really reminds me of MGS1, at least on a structural level, so I really love that about Ground Zeroes, but, Jack, or go ahead, Omar.
I was gonna say, it even feels like Hitman
Sure, yeah.
influenced by in a
That's
lot
what
of
I kept
ways.
thinking about. Yeah, I kept thinking about like how I felt like felt a lot like Hitman to me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think even talking about the game and its value and Hitman, there is this one area where you have a lot of reasons to replay it, and that perfection of getting S ranks, and there are many missions outside of the main one in this game that we can touch on after, towards the end, because they're really just like for funsies. But
I don't want to do all on it, but yeah, that Hitman 1 release cycle of like, it was like 6 Ground Zeroes for like in a year. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Very cool. So, Jack,
before we get into game, oh, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting, Jack. Where were you saying, Christian?
I was just going to talk about the introduction. So,
okay,
Jack, the way they tee this up, the way they get into, we touched on it earlier, but like Kiefer giving his deliveries of everything and setting up the mission hot off a Peace Walker, right? And I know you saw the secret ending of Peace Walker, the bonus ending. How was that transition going from Peace Walker and its style of stories to seeing this kicking off here?
Yeah, so Peace Walker obviously had the very beautiful art, and that was the main way it conveyed its story. And then, yeah, obviously Ground Zeroes is much more like realistic, and that intro sequence is gorgeous. It is really great at what it was trying. Even in 2021, I think this is still a beautiful looking game, and that's the introduction to how Ground Zeroes and then the Phantom Pain will look. And I feel like they nail it. We were talking before this, but lots of lens flares. Obviously, it's very J.J. Abrams inspired and that sort of deal. But everything just looks gorgeous in this. And this, like, setting up this as a mission, I feel like they did a really great job with Here's to You, which I think was at the credits of Metal Gear Solid 4, and now it's used in Ground Zeroes in a different way, I believe. Really great. And yep.
Do you remember when I mentioned that Kojima wanted to hang Otacon and Snake at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the story is that song's written about a pair of people like Sacco and Mazzetti who that happened to. And that was the whole idea with him using that song in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
It's great hearing it here.
Mm-hmm. It's a good song. But, yeah, I'm with you, Jack. I think it looks great. So, Kevin, you've been waiting a long time to get to MGS5. This is your first taste of it. Just seeing how it is, seeing that introductory cutscene, getting control of the sticks, initial impression, what was it for you?
I think what really grabbed me the most was, like, I was like, damn, like the way like he's doing these shots and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
In the game, in scenes and stuff like that. But I'm like, no, like I mean, he's always like had that like type of look, right? Like even when you think about the first Metal Gear Solid, right? Like, I remember thinking like, oh man, like I see where he's wanting to go with like these angles and stuff like that in scenes, but it's still in PS1 graphics and stuff. But it was cool to see it. Like I think he fully got to do what he's always envisioned. I feel like in this generation, I feel like I guess you could probably say maybe Metal Gear Solid 4, sure, but like I think it is a different level in this game for sure. And I think the sound design is really, 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 really strong. Like man, like I mean, like the series always has like those sound effects that I love, like when you're scrolling in menus and stuff like that, just like those little very, very like tactile feeling, satisfying feeling sounds. But it was when Snake like whipped out like I don't even know what it's called now, like the
iDroid?
The iDroid.
Yeah, that's a weird name. I don't know if I like that.
No, it's cool,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
an
both
iPod and an Android.
I mean the prospect of like him like of taking out the iDroid and it does that like war and it like just wipes out this like holographic like map. Like I think that was like the
In
coolest
like
shit.
the late 70s, early 80s, right? Like it's
Yeah. I'm like, whoa, that's cool as fuck. But like I just hated it. But yeah, like I think definitely what stuck out is like the sound design. I think this game like sounds incredible. Can't wait to see what happens in Phantom Pain in terms of sound and everything. But yeah, I was really impressed with it, and I would say it still holds up. I'm assuming this game got a PS4 Pro patch. I think that's it.
Never.
I haven't heard or no.
It
no?
is running at 1080p 60, just like it did on base PS4.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. Well, hey, I say that's even better because that, I think it really, really holds up still. Yeah, and maybe that's a testament to the Fox engine to the most part for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think this game looks great. I think the game looks really great. It ran really smooth as well.
It was the first 60 frames Metal Gear since 2 when this came out, which was cool to see because 3 was not 60 frames, but you guys played it at 60. But yeah,
because
it was a return to form.
60.
No, I think the HD collection was, but Subsistence was still on PS2 and not running
yeah.
great.
Yeah, I mean, MGS4 was definitely not 60.
And Peace Walker for you, Kevin, wasn't either. So
Peace Walker for me wasn't, but the HD version, that was 60. Yeah.
So, but Omar, I know you want to touch on the beginning of this this introduction here a little bit. So let's hear what do you think of how this kicks off.
That cutscene is so sick, man. It's just so good because I don't know. I think long takes were still really novel at this time for me. And I was like, "Oh, right, this is cool." This Kojima just saw Children of Men, and he's going crazy. Just like this was actually the first. I think when they announced Ground Zeroes, they just showed off this 10-minute cutscene or something, and that was all we saw. But I just feel like we always talk about Kojima, like, as he transitions from doing codec calls to big cutscenes. I feel like this is honestly his best one yet in terms of actually directing stuff. Like, it just looks like a movie in a way. And that song, that needle drop is perfect. It just hits. Because I always love when, like, I don't know where that's from, but when, like, I think Chico puts in the ear pod, right?
Yeah.
And then the music hits.
Yeah.
And it's so sick. And I always feel like Kojima is really good at, like, showing off, like, soldiers running around. Like, just soldiers doing soldier stuff. And also, this is where we get the introduction of Skullface, right? This is the first time we ever see Skullface, which is the funniest shit, I still think. It's just like, it was the most Kojima thing.
Yeah, and XOF, right?
Right.
I've never fully comprehended this whole thing. Like, I still don't think I do, but
wait, like why it's XOF or like what they're doing?
Just like
right.
The reason, like the choice. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't get the patches, but
it's a cool moment though with the flip, right? That's cool.
Yeah.
That patch flip is amazing.
My explanation of this is really dumb, but you know, like it on military uniforms, they have the backwards flag because they're going in that direction, and that's
Okay.
why it's portrayed that way.
Sure, yeah.
That's my rationale. Or on ambulances, ambulance is written backwards so you can see it in a mirror. That's my rationale, even though that's not the answer. That's just headcanon for me.
Yeah, okay. I'll buy it.
Have we ever talked about how good the Fox logo is before? Have we?
No, this is the
but
first
it's
time we get a
amazing.
really good look at it. I think
It's such a
it's
good
never
logo.
really given a spotlight in previous games, right? You gotta like look for it if you want to like look at it, but this is like it's in your face here. So
Right.
And,
I
like,
think it eventually became the Kojima Productions logo.
yeah, that's what I
right.
was gonna throw in there. I think like that might be the point of reference also, but for sure in game it's definitely here more than others.
I love the new Kojima Productions logo, the Ludens guy,
Yeah, me too.
the skull guy. I think it's awesome, but I think my heart is still with this one. Something really cool about it.
Yeah, it looks really great.
Beautiful orange. Beautiful orange.
For sure. So this once we get like control of this game, it definitely feels like a natural evolution, I think, of the last two we played. Starting with 4, I think we definitely found for the returning players like seeds of 5 and 4, right? In terms of the way you have to think and just some of the way things feel. Peace Walker, I think even more so, is basically the prototype for 5 in many, many ways. But Jack and Omar, I know both of you believe this. I believe it too. That 5 in its entirety, both Ground Zeroes and Peace Walker, Phantom Pain, is probably like the best feeling third-person action game ever. Am I wrong?
Yep. Nope. That's what I said in our top 10 of the generation of Metal Gear Solid 5. I still, in 2021, think Metal Gear Solid 5 has the best third-person action gameplay ever. I don't think that's been... I think a lot of games have come close recently, but
Sure.
I still think MGS5, and that has its roots in Ground Zeroes. And for me, like, it was hard to quantify how I felt about Ground Zeroes at the time before 5 because it was probably my favorite Metal Gear Solid experience. There's almost no story in this, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because the gameplay is just so superior to any other game that was around at the time. And I just loved jumping in and just trying to stealth my way through this whole experience. I love the gameplay in this. It's incredible, and it still is.
Sure.
Yeah, I think just the act of like moving Snake in this feels incredible, which is like honestly, it reminds me the most of like playing Mario 64 on a N64 joystick.
Sure.
It just feels immediately good, and I think that's awesome. No, and honestly, I don't think anyone like expected it to, right? Because like Kojima games always they play fine, but I feel like with this one, this was like the main attraction was the gameplay. And
Absolutely.
I don't think it's been top for me still, to be honest, at this point.
Yeah. I feel the exact same way as both of you. And Kevin, I know these are lofty statements, but how's it been for you playing like as Snake in this game?
Yeah, like I like I don't mean to be like the Sony pony over here, but like it felt like when I was a few hours into like The Last of Us Part 2, where it's like this gameplay is like so much better than the first one. You know what I'm saying? And like I think in MGS5 it's a lot more emphasized just because like, you know, we've never really like raved about the physical like tactile feel of the gameplay of a Metal Gear Solid game before, right? Like we'll talk about like the strategy, right, of like how certain things and maybe certain cues and certain moves like feel satisfying, but like I just think as a whole Ground Zeroes just feels very, very like I feel like I have like a lot more control of Snake, you know, than like I previously did in like a lot of ways. One that I just gotta highlight, I don't know what it is, I don't know why, this might have like my favorite sprint I think ever in any game. I don't know what it is, but the way
sound.
he just
He also
takes
moves
off
at 30 miles an hour.
and goes fucking zooming. It's like so satisfying. I know he just books it. It's so good, man. I have no idea why. Like, it feels real good to run.
It looks
It's like-
scary.
No, it looks terrifying.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
like running for his life, like just instantly.
If he
And
punches
Kiefer, I
someone
think
at the-
breeds really good.
Yeah, it's so good.
If he punches someone at that speed, they're broken rib.
Oh, they're fucked,
Automatically.
Yeah,
And
it's like Borderlands Sonic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
sure, yeah, and like
Gotta go fast.
just the way you can like chain motion as well, like sprinting, doing a dolphin dive, sneaking a little bit, standing up, going again, like the flow you
rolling,
can get
dude.
into. Yeah,
Rolling too.
the flow of this game is just, it feels unlike anything other anything else in this genre, honestly. It's just so
I feel like when this came out, it was like, where did this come from?
Yeah,
'Cause it
honestly.
very was unlike Metal Gear. It was like,
It's
what
like-
the fuck?
I know we talked about, like, I definitely tried to make it a point to like notice that there were seeds since 4, right, in our playthrough here, but like even 4 feels very stiff in a lot of ways. Peace Walker for sure feels stiff, and here it's just like so fluid, but it doesn't feel like it's not Metal Gear in a really interesting way. So yeah, you're right, Omar. It very much was surprising, I think.
Yeah. And I feel like they wanted to make gameplay the emphasis for this game and for 5, especially with the new reflex mechanic of a guard spots you and you're not instantly screwed. You have like a few moments to get out of that situation, and it doesn't feel like cheap for you, the player. I feel like it's pretty fair because that time decreases over usage. So if you use that like 5 or more times, it's going to be a lot quicker of a time to react. But yeah, I feel like that was a really great integration into this game, and it doesn't feel like it gets in the way. It helps in a meaningful way.
Because
Sorry.
you can still be screwed if like there's too many guards, right? Because it doesn't scale based on how many people see you. It's just, hey, you have X amount of time. So like if there's 6 guards around, you can maybe knock out 2, like maybe 3 if you're really good. But it doesn't feel like it's a cheat, like you said. But
you always said, oh, sorry, Kevin.
Does the time decrease like in a given mission, or is it like throughout the whole game?
So like in this mission, like in the main mission, I believe it will decrease if you kept getting caught. So like,
Okay.
It's like 5 seconds at first, it'll go down over time.
Right. Okay. The more you're sloppy and you get caught.
Right.
Okay. That makes sense. Gotcha.
I think the idea also is that like the fact that when it does feel sloppy in this game and you fuck up, it actually still feels like really fun, because I think the systems there are they really cover all your bases if you want to get crazy dynamic with it. And I think honestly, Kevin, you mentioned Last of Us Part 2 earlier, but I feel like this game is really influential, or maybe not this one specifically, but like this with 5 of Phantom Pain is like honestly. Even Breath of the Wild, I think, takes lessons from this game in a lot of ways, where the dynamics of combat, and we'll get into open world stuff later. But man, it's cool.
Yeah.
definitely.
Because I feel like in old Metal Gear games, you always just want to reload a save when you get caught, right?
Yeah.
But this one, I'll be like, I'll just sprint to the other side of the map or something.
Yeah. Can we talk about CQC for a second?
Yes.
Because like.
Totally.
In Peace Walker, it is fun, like, on that training mission on the beach, like, really feeling the impact of, like, whipping those dudes onto the ground, but, like, in 5, it's on another level. Like, CQC is so much fun here. I feel like this is where CQC became more of a meme. Maybe that's just, like, a recency thing, but I feel like CQC... Yeah, exactly. Like, CQC really gets elevated here, and I think it's the best integration it's ever had. Honestly.
Yeah, I think Peace Walker was the first game that CQC made sense in, because they would always mention CQC, I think post MGS3, and I like did not know how to use it. And even before that, before I think it had its title, I did not know how to use like close quarters combat at all. But this is just so easy. You just pull down the right trigger and then you have so many options. And yeah, it feels a lot more tactile, and just carrying bodies around, and then you could lightly place them down or hit the trigger again and just toss them across the map. It's great. Everything about combat in this, from shooting to down to CQC, feels amazing.
For sure. So
I will say, I think CQC kind of became a meme with Metal Gear Solid 3, only because I like watching speedruns of Metal Gear Solid 3, and at the end of the game they have to like shoot the boss, right? I think like every time people in the chat will always go, "Oh, they didn't even CQC the boss," like just out of disgust, which I really like.
Yeah.
Even though I shot her as well, but
Yeah.
you have to CQC her.
Exactly.
Hit him with that AK.
You gotta hit him with the AK.
Hit him with
So, is there anything else in terms of gameplay standouts for what's introduced here? Because a lot of it is an evolution of what we've seen already, but there are some new tweaks, like Jack mentioned, the reflex and stuff like that. But is there anything else on a gameplay level we want to talk about in Ground Zeroes before we get to where it ends off?
At first,
sorry,
I was kind of Like at first, I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about not having a timer, right? But I think they're able to convey with the comms that you hear from the enemies and the way they path, right? And also on the map where you can see, like, okay, you were last spotted like in this area, right? Like in this highlight thing. So you probably don't want to be here because they're gonna search over here. So like, I think they did a good job at kind of like blending a sort of like, I don't know, like I feel like the timer is not necessary because they give me a lot more information about the search that they're doing, right? And like how long it's taking. But also, I mean, yeah, they call them back. Okay, yeah, we're going to like alert status, whatever. We're gonna go back to like a regular just alert. I just think they did a good job at that. Where like at first I was like, I don't know how I feel about not having a timer, like, but I think it worked out. I think it felt really good to like get out of being caught and trying to hide and wait until I'm good to come back again. So, yeah, and also, I mean, just that also just overall just blends into just the point that I felt like this base like was less of like a organized obstacle for me to get through, as opposed to now it feels more like a living, breathing base.
Yeah.
Right. Where it's like, hey, okay, I see a camera up there. I could probably shoot that, right? You know, but then they're gonna be alerted, like, hey, that camera went down. Let's go check that area. Like it just feels a little bit more thought out and just feels like there's a lot more checks and balances as opposed to me just always just, you know, checking
and
the base. You know what I'm saying?
I think the strength of it too, and Omar brought up Hitman earlier, but like I think such a strength of Ground Zeroes and the replayability of it and the other missions, it doesn't feel like for any objective in this game there is a right way to do it. Like it feels like there are a couple options for you in terms of like how long you're taking, how long you have to wait, if you want to go like again going guns blazing or try to sneak the majority of the way. Like I really do feel like here just the refined one location, and like you're saying, Kevin, it just feels like a real place, not necessarily a level. It really does make you think like, okay, I'm sure the way I did this is a little differently from like the way Omar did it or how Kevin or Jack, like, right, there is some variability here, which I really like about it. So
yeah, I think level design is one of Ground Zero's strength.
Sure.
It reminds me of Far Cry in a lot of ways, where you're just marking people and just I feel like that marking mechanic was really important to have a better understanding about your surroundings, and not forgetting people because they're showing up on your map. And then it reminded me a lot of like the old 007 games in a way. Like, for example, to get in this time, I went to the truck that was like a little near Chico's cell, and I hopped in it, like hid in the back, and then like it drove me right into the base, and which is just something that would happen like the old like Nightfire games or like 007 games. And yeah, it's just and there's different ways to approach that too, right? Like that was on the right side of the map. If I went on the left side of the map, there's like different tunnels you can crawl through and stuff. So yeah, it's just I feel like the level design is top notch in this game.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the marking too, Jack, because that is such a key part of this. And Omar, you talked about influence, right? In terms of just the rest of the generation, I got really into Ghost Recon Wildlands, which was an open world stealth-like game, and definitely not as refined, way more arcadey, but there's absolutely notes from Phantom Pain in that game. So like, yeah, I think a lot of the precedents that were set in 5 are just really, really strong, and we've felt a lot since then, even though we don't have really any more Metal Gear games since this. But in terms of where we leave off story-wise, though, because this is a prologue to Phantom Pain, we get the evac on everybody. We carry Paz out to the helicopter. We're on our way out, being extracted.
Side note: when you turn that corner and you see Paz just hanging and like that orange light coming in, like I just think that was like one of the best things I've seen like in games this year. Like I just thought that one still was just fucking gorgeous. But continue. Yeah, I like that a lot.
We are on our way out of the base. Turns out they knew we were coming. They planned for this. There's a plant and it's Paz. She's got a bomb in her. We get it out. But spoiler alert, there's a second bomb. Omar, do you want to touch on this?
Yeah, I kind of don't, but I will. There's a second bomb in her privates, I think. Right? That's what it implies, right?
Yeah, like it's never said. That's what I assumed.
Because
I was like, oh,
the first one was like Joker style. It was in her stomach, right?
I wasn't even my phone call. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just never picked up on it that there was a second bomb. I don't think, even though it's pretty obvious. Like
I think, yeah, it was big on gamer Twitter. I feel like a lot of discussion about this one point, which was like, oh yeah, that was fucked up.
Yeah, but
I've played this game multiple times, and that part has been just lost in my memory. Totally forgot about that, and it's very important because that's how this game leaves off, because of that bomb. Totally forgot about that. I don't think my brain was like, no, we don't need to remember that. It's unnecessary information.
Did you hide it? Did you?
I must
put it.
Must have hid it.
But yeah,
I'll say this. I'm kind of a plant here. I feel like at some point Kojima stopped working for me in a lot of in the story stuff, where I think in like 4 it gets into that like kind of misery stuff and kind of drevels in it, and I think this one I kind of don't get tonally as well. I feel like it feels dark for. I'm not really sure what the point is, and I think a lot of it is just kind of edgy in a way that I don't really care for anymore. I'm super in on the gameplay and stuff, and the cutscene direction I still think is fabulous, but like I don't understand what the point of taking Chico and Paz from Peace Walker was and doing them like this. Very much.
Do you think it's just because I'm with you? I think it's like a lot of the Big Boss story stuff after. I mean, Peace Walker, I like his story, but like I think since then it's just a lot of like, hey, he's a bad guy kind of, so maybe just like the people that come to him are doomed to be in bad scenarios. It's just like you're saying, it's just very edgy and like.
Sure, but I feel like 4 has some of that too, though, right? With in terms of like everyone's got a tragic, all the B&B stuff. It's like,
yeah.
I think,
for sure, I agree with what you're saying. And I think with 4, it's maybe part of that's just chalked up to the fact that they want to go like sort of not too distant future post-apocalypse sort of deal, you know. But here it's very much like this is the 80s, man. Like this is pre-MGS1, and then there's just all this. I mean, yeah, fucked up shit happens with like military operations, but Big Boss was never really a hero. I mean, he was, but like not for any of the players, or at least the players on this panel. So like it might just be that. I don't know. It's not good, but yeah. I
think honestly it just very much is a thing where Kojima's a big film fan, and I think he wanted to make a more serious tale.
Sure.
Which yeah, because I think my favorite Metal Gear is the kind of goofy balance that like 1 and 2 strikes. But yeah.
Another thread from Peace Walker that Kevin picked up on in his stream, and I did as well during my playthrough this time around, which I was very confused by. I was confused why at the end of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, like after the cutscene, Big Boss feels that the boss betrayed him, and he's like, you call me Big Boss now. I no longer want to be called Snake. I feel like I'm Big Boss now. And that's a huge thing at the end of that game. And at the very start of Ground Zeroes, he's being called Snake, and I was confused by that.
Thank you. I would have been so mad if we didn't bring it up. and I forgot to bring that up. Yeah, but that was like a big thing. I was like, wait, so because like it, at least to me, it was like a big looming question like the entire Peace Walker game. Like, why isn't he taking up the mantle? Like, it's been like 10 years. Like you know, you were given that title. You know, like, why aren't you using it? And I figured because of him having to deal with losing the boss, right? That him going through what he did in Peace Walker and finally putting it to rest, at least seemingly, right?
Sure.
Hey, I want to move on and be Big Boss, right? But then, yeah, they call him Snake throughout this whole Ground Zeroes mission, and it's like, huh, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. So
I have sorry, one more thing to bring up that I kind of forgot about. That maybe was my least favorite part about this game is when you pick up Chico and you listen to his headphones and you hear that pause torture thing.
Yeah.
Don't get it. I don't get why we have to do that.
Really?
Like, no, I just think it sounds pretty nasty. Like, I feel like I don't understand the point of listening to this audio. I wish you could tell the story better. Like, it's literally just torture porn in my ears.
I mean, wait, are you talking about when? I mean, because like I didn't really take it as like so much torture porn. I just figured like it was recording while they were taking pause away, so Snake was able to locate, based off like the flag sound and like the gate and everything and all that. Like, that's how I kind of took it. Like, I took it as like more of a means for me to like kind of explore the environment in a different way. Like, rather than see something and hear it, I gotta hear it on this tape and then kind of match where it is and see it. Okay, there's a gate over there. It could be that gate. It's next to that flag, so maybe it is that gate. We get closer, and then Kaz like, yeah, okay, that's the gate. I found it more of like an exploratory thing, even though like at the end, yeah, you do hear pause.
No, I know it is definitely a mechanic. I think it's a cool one too in a lot of ways. But I just feel like the audio is just like disturbing.
I hear you.
Yeah, like the direction, right?
Yeah, well, like the whole concept of it, like like, and I think there is like a worse tape in there too with pause. I can't really comment on that, but I think there is one where like they put the bomb in her.
Okay, then maybe I just didn't hear that. Okay, yeah. Maybe I was just talking about the one that was like the main objective where.
No, I'm talking about that one too, to be honest. But yeah,
okay,
there's definitely more egregious examples. But
okay, yeah,
like, yeah,
sure.
It's a bit hard to listen to, I think.
Right. I can see that. Yeah, for sure.
That's the main objective of this game. We can leave off with Kevin, whatever you want to predict about going into Phantom Pain. But before we do that, and before we, give our final ranking, I guess, I did want to shout out, there are a lot of very fun missions in this game that reuse the map. A couple highlights are, there's one where you have a bunch of locations and photos from like Metal Gear Solid 1, where you have to sort of find locations in this map that sort of match them, like match the locations, like the helicopter pad, a couple others cool. For MGS1 where you have to just like go there, match it up as close as you can, and it like syncs up, right? So you do that, you're trying to find them throughout this map. I think the reward for that one is you get the PS1 model of Snake to play as in this game.
Cool.
Yeah, you do have to go through a quiz to acquire that model, afterward.
Yeah, and is it trivia about MGS1? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that the one with the body snatchers too, or is that like a different mission?
I think that's a different one.
Okay.
That's a different one, yeah.
Is that the one that's tied to the Raiden skin?
Yeah, so Kevin, I guess we could talk about this now, but people in your chat were talking about this, and I was like, I don't know how to really talk about this through chat. But there's a sequence in one of the missions. I think you have to keep playing through the missions to keep acquiring new ones. There's one where there are body snatchers from like Invasion of Body Snatchers, pretty much posing as guards, and you have to eliminate them as Raiden. So it's certainly not canon, but it's just like a fun little thing where you play as Raiden. I don't think you specifically don't use the sword. You have like guns and stuff. So it's essentially just a reskinned Snake. But when he runs, lightning comes out. So it's pretty cool.
Yo, what? Oh, I have to see that.
Oh yeah, you go Christian.
I was gonna say a couple other missions, but if you had any more stuff about the Raiden mission, go for it.
I was gonna talk about the MGS1 like comparison.
Sure,
like
yeah.
when we did our like should there be a Metal Gear Solid remake, I mentioned Ground Zeroes, and I couldn't really explain myself. But I feel like, and you mentioned this earlier, Christian, like the situation of showing up on an island in Ground Zeroes is very similar. They obviously like sort of make fun of that with the MGS1 mission.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of Metal Gear Solid 1 remake, I think of Ground Zeroes because I think the situation is very similar. I feel like if you fleshed out Shadow Moses to be a little bit more open, still linear, but more open, like with this environment and having to deal with guard schedule changes and stuff like that, and moving through and having like some cool bosses as well. I feel like that is the remake I picture in my mind, and that makes me very happy, and I think that'd be cool.
I agree.
Oh my god, he's moving. He's moving so fast.
Yeah, dude.
Holy shit!
It's very fun.
Yeah, he zips through. It's really fun.
Another one that I did very recently, in the middle of, I think, our MGS4 playthrough, I just was craving Ground Zeroes, so I loaded it up, and there's a mission where you have to extract some intel guy or something, and Miller's like, there's this genius, like this secret guy has been captured, boss, you gotta get in, you gotta get him out. And you go through the base again, and you reach this legendary intel guy, and it's Kojima. Like, he is in the game. Kojima's character model is in the game. The best part of it is when you extract him, the cutscene you get when you're leaving in the helicopter, he like, I forget if he's wearing sunglasses or just like normal glasses, but he takes them off and then he puts on his like cool Kojima like blue future glasses with the rims that like just look like Kojima's glasses, like, and they have a fun little interaction, and he's like playing off boss in a fun way. So like, it's full of stuff like that, and there are some normal ones of just like go in, eliminate these few targets. Like, there's some more standard ones, but the fun missions in here are very fun. So
I like the one where they're like the eye and the finger. I think
Yeah.
that's a really good line delivery,
mm-hmm.
and it's been on my mind ever since.
Yeah.
Like, going back to the overpriced discussion, I do agree that it was overpriced at the time, but I bought this for $40. I played through all those missions. This is the first time I got all the trophies for a Metal Gear game. No platinum. That was dumb.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed every second of it. Like, I was upset, like, oh man, I can't believe I'm paying $40 for this. My money was well spent, I think, at least, because I just played the absolute shit out of this, and it was a joy. And I think they did add those missions to pad out the experience.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like super. Each mission isn't as fleshed out, obviously, as this one. They are side ops, but they are fun, and even having like a different scenario allows you to do that particular mission in different ways. So there's a lot of options of playing this game, and it's great.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I know we're kind of close on time. I just want to bring up also, I don't think we brought up the end where Mother Base is under attack.
Well, yeah,
and
that's
everything
what I
like
wanted to ask you. I wanted to end on that. So
yeah, okay, cool.
the finale of this, seeing the bomb blow up, seeing everything with Mother Base, like, for you, Kevin, going into Phantom Pain, knowing this is a prologue, what are you expecting when you pick up and when you continue?
Yeah, I mean, it took me a dumb amount of time to realize that I'm looking at Mother Base being exploded. It took me a while in the cutscene. Like, it was, I think, like when I saw Miller like up close, I was like, oh wait, fuck, this is Mother Base. Oh shit, like, these are my people.
Mm-hmm.
This is like Med Bay. This is Intel. Like, oh no. So I think this is like a like in-game way to, I mean, at least I hope this is like an in-game way to explain why we're hopefully building up another Mother Base again. I really hope that is the case, because I had a lot of fun with it in Peace Walker, and I hope that we get that more in Phantom Pain for sure. But I think it's a really cool like place to start, and to put Big Boss in, right? Like, I think it's a neat, he just saw Paz explode,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think he lost his arm in that explosion as well, right? He's been asleep for I don't know why 90 days is in my head. I don't think that's true. Wait, no, is it 9 years?
In the very end trailer that you're talking
When
about?
when he wakes up in the hospital, yeah. It's not like, is it 9 years? Do we know?
I don't remember.
I think the doctor says in X amount of years, so.
Yeah, like it's been a
while.
long. So that's interesting. That means that Mother Base has been operating. I wonder if military without Boris is still going without him. Where's Miller? Right? Like, has he been leading up that whole thing in the time where Snake had just been in a coma? Essentially, he has a red arm now. That's interesting. So I think it's a interesting place to put Big Boss and like to tell whatever happens next. So I'm really excited for it. But yeah, R.I.P. Mother Base 1. R.I.P. You hate to see it.
So with that, then, do we want to rank Ground Zeroes individually and as a group, or no? Because I mean, I feel like it is a prologue. It's not a full blown experience, but
I think it's worth ranking it.
I think it's worth
ranking. Christian.
I don't know if we should rank
used
it.
to argue
with Jack. I don't know if this is fair. I don't know. If this is fair.
Guys, we gotta rank it.
Really?
I don't
There's
think that's
huge
fair.
arguments over whether Ground Zero is better than Phantom Pain Online. We have to participate in this.
That's stupid.
We have to participate. No,
because
it's not stupid.
Listen,
It's not stupid.
I don't know.
Listen,
I mean,
listen.
I don't know. Like, go ahead.
We're not going to get into this right now about Phantom Pain, right? But I think there is something to Ground Zeroes being this focused, this tight gameplay. Because like the gameplay is the same, with a few minor tweaks of like how you traverse the world and stuff like that. But
let's do it. The
gameplay is the same, and there is a huge benefit, I think, of Ground Zeroes being this focused, this tight. Zero flaws with this game outside of some choices that Kojima made story-wise and portrayal of character, I believe. So
let's do it. We could always revoke this and just take it out of the ranking.
Sure.
We don't have to talk about value either here, I think. Just like
to be. No,
what's up?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like, I think. No, I really have nothing. What's up, Kevin?
I don't know. Look, I'll rank it. Just know I'm not about this ranking. like I don't
ranking in protest.
I don't. Yeah, like I don't feel comfortable doing this because I just don't think it's fair. But let's. All right.
Hey, I mean, you could probably rank it after 5, maybe, if you want to go back to the situation. Because like I do think there's something here that's different than 5.
Yes.
I think.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
So,
man, I feel like. Okay, yeah, let's go.
Omar, do you want to lead?
I really can't. I mean, I can't remember my previous ranking, but I don't know. Let's do Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 1. Was 3 number 3? I guess I'll put this above Metal Gear Solid 3. So Metal Gear Solid 2, 1, Ground Zeroes, 3, 4.
Okay.
That's how it's going.
And you're not ranking Peace Walker because you didn't experience
I
it?
didn't play. I can't. I'm sorry.
I can go.
Okay.
I think I have mine, I guess. Again, just to be clear, audience, this is a protest ranking. I don't... Okay, here we go. Metal Gear Solid 3, bottom. Ground Zeroes, Metal Gear Solid 2, Peace Walker, Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 4. And the more Metal Gear Solid 4, I might have to move you, man. Like, I don't know. I really liked you in the time. The Act 5 really fucked it all up. I might have to, cause it's just, you're just looking a little bit too high right there. But sure. I just don't think with a clear conscience. I mean, I feel comfortable putting Ground Zeroes above 3 just because legitimately it's the ladder scene and the song itself and the end fight with the boss, and that is literally it in Metal Gear Solid 3 for me, right?
Right.
So I feel comfortable putting Ground Zeroes above that, but I just don't know if you can really put it above any other Metal Gear Solid game. Like, I just don't know if you can actually do that.
So
with a clear conscience. I don't know.
Some people would say PT is one of the best games ever made.
It is.
Yeah, I mean,
Jack, what's yours right now?
So, low key protest rank. I don't know if I think I would lump Ground Zeroes with MGS5, but for the sake of this ranking, I would say my bottom, number 6, Metal Gear Solid 3, number 5, Peace Walker, Number 4, Metal Gear Solid 1. Number 3, Metal Gear Solid 4, which I'm also thinking of changing. Number 2, Ground Zeroes, and then number 1, Metal Gear Solid 2.
Damn.
Because if out of
all
that list, if I
I
had to jump into any Metal Gear Solid game and just like, hey, you have to play any of these, it would be Ground Zero. It just has the best gameplay, and that's
So tight.
it's a great game.
So
I
good.
love it, dude. It ranks very highly. Divorced from 5 for me, even still.
Sure. For me right now, 6th place is Snake Eater, 5th place is MGS4, 4th place is Peace Walker, 3rd place is Ground Zeroes, 2nd is MGS1, and then number 1 is MGS2. So we don't have to do a group ranking if we don't want to at the moment, but I just wanted to get a good sense of where we are individually with Ground Zeroes. So
And as someone mentioned, we can revoke it later if you want to, if you guys
Sure,
are feeling
yeah.
sour about it still.
sure.
But I do think there is value in looking at this as a different experience for right now, at least.
Yeah, and
That's true.
just for a reminder, currently 5th place as the group ranking is MGS3, 4th place is Peace Walker, 3rd place is MGS4, 2nd is MGS1, and then 1st is MGS2. Just to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I rescind my comment that divorcing Ground Zeroes and 5 was stupid, because clearly there's some merit to doing that, and I understand that upon further reflection.
Cool.
So
Appreciate it.
Yeah, because Omar, I remember you and I ranked.
I wasn't calling
Christian-
you bringing that up stupid. I was
No,
calling
I know.
London.
I'm just making it personal to be annoying. Christian, yeah, I remember us like definitely fighting about this sometimes,
Yes.
or like getting into like I think I was originally like Jack, like what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
But like like there's something there.
There
It's different philosophies in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. Yeah.
Well, that is Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. The next time we discuss Metal Gear, it will be sometime around the end of June, early July. Look forward to that. That will be our full thoughts on Phantom Pain. We'll have it completed by then, next time we talk. Looking forward to that very much. But until then, thank you for discussing Ground Zeroes. I had a great time talking about it with you guys. So until next time, Jack, where can everybody find you?
Sure. You can follow me on social media at Fascinated Jack. Christian and I have a Marvel's Avengers podcast. Big news coming up soon. You've probably already heard it right now. Black Panther's going to save the game, and there's no other way to look about it. E3 just happened. Now that you're listening to this, and Black Panther, let's say August is coming out. That's what's happening. I'm going to say that right now. This will not be dated. So our podcast is called Excelsior, and you can find that on JoyClicks or on podcast services of your choice.
Very nice. Omar, what about you?
Yeah, I have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ohmstechef. I say this sometimes, but really, I think it's getting crazier than ever. Please come see it sometime. It's nuts.
Yes, I can officially co-sign. It does get crazy.
Thank you.
Kevin, where can everybody find you?
// PlayStation Source. Twitter at PS Source Vids. Road to Rift Apart. Tabletop Podcast. All that good stuff. All
Nice.
the fun stuff. Gamescast as well.
Yes.
JoyClicks.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, and TikTok at ChuntyD2, as well as here, youtube.com/JoyClicks for the Longplay Club. Going through all the Metal Gear Solid games. Those are all in their own playlists, even though Peace Walker, this, and 5 are single episodes. They will have their own playlists. You can check that out on the channel. If you want to get the audio versions, though, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Longplay Club. Every game we've done so far for the Longplay Club is in the same podcast feed. If you enjoy it, or you want to give some commentary, giving a rating or a review would be appreciated. And if you want to support the channel, support the shows on a monetary level, you can go to patreon.com/joyclicks at the $1 and $5 tiers. The $5 tier will get you producer credit on all of our podcasts, like Chris Sakis, Aaron Easton, and Charles Applin. So thank you very much. And that is Ground Zeroes. I'm very excited to talk about Phantom Pain. We will get there when we get there, but only a couple Metal Gears left until we're done with this thing. It only took half a year, but here we go. And
Hell yeah.
can we get... Who do we think has the best They Played Us Like a Damn Fiddle delivery?
Omar.
Definitely Omar.
Omar, you want to sign us out?
All right. I might need 2 takes, but I can probably do this in one. They played us like a damn fiddle.